In this video, we'll show you how to update the firmware on your Canon imageCLASS printer using your computer. The steps provided will work on a Mac or a Windows PC. Let's get started. In this demonstration, we'll use a USB cable connected between the printer and the computer to perform the firmware update. If you don't have a USB cable available, or if your computer is too far from the printer to connect this way, you can choose to connect your printer directly to your wireless router with an Ethernet cable instead. First, make sure your printer is plugged in and powered on. The main screen will be lit when the printer is on. Next, we need to check the current version of the printer's firmware. We'll check the firmware version again at the end of the process to verify the latest firmware is installed. Please note, you may see a message at the bottom of the menu screen alerting you of an available firmware update. Tap the Custom One tab, then tap the menu icon. Next, tap Management Settings. If you set up a System Manager password for your printer, you may be asked to enter it before you proceed. Tap Remote UI Settings/Update Firmware. Depending on the printer model, License/Other might appear instead. Next, tap Update Firmware, then tap Version Information. Review the information and keep the version information handy to compare to the updated version at a later step. Now let's download the latest Firmware Update Tool software package from the Canon website by visiting usa.canon.com/support. Search for your printer by entering your printer's model number in the center search box. And selecting it from the list. Select Software and Drivers. Verify that your operating system is selected. Select the checkbox to agree to the terms and conditions, and then download the latest available Firmware Update Tool software package. Enter your printer's serial number, and then select Submit. If you see a file download prompt, make sure to select Keep or Allow. Next, select Save As. In this demonstration, we saved the firmware update software package file on the desktop. Your file location may vary. Now let's prepare the printer for the firmware update. Tap the Custom One tab, then tap the menu icon. Next, tap Management Settings. If you set up a System Manager password for your printer, you may be asked to enter it before you proceed. Tap Remote UI Settings/Update Firmware. Depending on the printer model, License/Other might appear instead. Next, tap Update Firmware, then select Via PC. Review the information, and then select Yes to continue. The printer is now ready for the new firmware to be installed. Back on your computer, open the firmware software package we downloaded earlier. The Canon User Support Tool window will open. Review the information, and then select Next. Review the update preparation information, and then select Next. Make sure Specify by Printer Name is selected, and a USB-connected device with a port name appears in the window. If you connected the printer to your router using an Ethernet cable, you'll be asked to enter the IP address. Make sure it matches the IP address shown on the printer screen. Then select Next. Review the information one last time, and then select Start. Select Yes to proceed with the firmware update. The firmware update will now begin. This may take a few minutes. At this time, do not turn off the printer or unplug its power cord. Also, do not disconnect the USB cable or Ethernet connection between the printer and the computer or router. When you see this window, the firmware update is complete. Select OK. Tap the stop icon on the screen panel to restart the printer. The printer will go back to the home screen after it restarts. We can now verify the new firmware. Tap the Custom One tab, and then tap the menu icon. Next, tap Management Settings. If you set up a System Manager password for your printer, you may be asked to enter it before you proceed. Tap Remote UI Settings/Update Firmware. Depending on the printer model, License/Other might appear instead. Next, tap Update Firmware. Then tap Version Information. Review the information and make sure the current versions are installed. Congratulations! This completes the firmware update of your Canon imageCLASS printer. For more how-to videos, please visit our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching!